You may have believed that when something is buried, it's gone forever. But let me tell you this, throughout spiritual history, what is buried is often not destroyed, it's preserved. What you once thought was the end might actually have been God's way of protecting you. And today I'm telling you the moment has come. God is standing at the entrance of what you buried, what you left behind, what you thought was forgotten. And here's the thing, the decision has already been made in the spiritual realm. The order has been signed. What was sealed away, what you thought was lost, is about to return, not just to surface, but to bring forth a new purpose, a new destiny. So if you feel the stirring, if you sense something shifting in your spirit, don't ignore it. Hit that like button, comment with your thoughts, because the time for what was buried to rise again is here. There are times when certain dreams, identities, or purposes simply cannot survive in hostile environments. Life can be cruel, and circumstances can force what's most precious to us into the shadows. Betrayals, failures, misunderstandings. These things have a way of burying the very essence of who we are and what we're meant to accomplish. We all know that feeling of watching something valuable slip away, something we once held on to with such hope. But let me share with you a deeper truth. Burial doesn't always mean loss. In fact, in the spiritual realm, it can often represent protection rather than destruction. Think of a seed. A seed is buried beneath the soil, hidden from sight. It may look like it's been buried, forgotten, even wasted. But the truth is, it's in that hidden place where the seed undergoes transformation. It's nourished in secret, out of view from the world, until it is finally ready to break free and grow into something powerful. This is how our callings work. Sometimes the destiny that is meant for you needs to go through this stage of hiddenness. Your purpose, your passion, your gifts, they may need to be protected from the harshness of the world for a while until the right time comes for them to emerge. What appeared to be defeat, what felt like the final chapter, may actually have been the preparation phase. What you thought was a failure was really God's way of shaping you, of fortifying your foundation so that you could stand firm when your time came. What was buried didn't die. It was simply waiting for the right moment to rise again. You may not see it now, but that season of hardship, that moment of pain, was part of a greater plan. It was the necessary groundwork, the hidden training that you needed to become who you were always meant to be. If you've ever felt like you've been buried in despair, don't be disheartened. You are not forgotten. You are being prepared. The best part, God has already signed the order for your resurrection. What you thought was lost is only waiting for its time to return stronger, wiser, and more powerful than before. There are moments in life when the past comes rushing back, not as something to be feared, but as something to be embraced. It can feel like the deepest corners of your history, once sealed away in the back of your mind, suddenly break free and resurface with a fresh, unexpected meaning. Those past experiences, the dreams you once held, the talents you thought you lost, the goals you gave up on, they all begin to reappear in your life. It's as if the universe, or more specifically heaven, has decided it's time to revisit what you thought was long forgotten. It can feel strange, even unsettling, like reopening a chapter you thought was finished, but the truth is, it's not about looking backward in regret, but about seeing the past through the lens of growth and understanding. Think about it. Those old ideas, the passion you once had, the things that made you feel alive, they may have been pushed aside or lost in the chaos of life. You might have buried them because circumstances changed, people let you down, or the world wasn't ready for your vision. You walked away thinking that perhaps it wasn't meant to be. But now there's a stirring in your heart. The dreams you abandoned, the talents you ignored, the goals you thought were too big, are suddenly finding their way back into your thoughts, your conversations, and your actions. They're showing up in unexpected places, making you pause and reconsider everything. And that feeling, yes, that feeling, is heaven nudging you gently, reminding you that the time for closure is over and the time for restoration has come. This is no coincidence. In spiritual interpretation, this sudden return of the past signifies that divine timing has changed. The moment you are in right now is not by accident, nor is it some random event. Heaven is revisiting your past because it's time for you to experience what was once hidden. The moments, the lessons, the purposes that you thought were lost or irrelevant are now resurfacing, not to torment you, but to bring you into alignment with your higher purpose. You may feel as though the door to your past was closed for good, but in truth, what you considered closed was merely waiting for the right time to open once again. In the spiritual realm, the entrance is much more than just a physical doorway. It's a symbolic threshold that divides what you once knew from what you are about to experience. It's the boundary between the past and the future, the old season and the new one. And God, in His divine sovereignty, is standing at that entrance ready to guide you through. What was once buried and sealed away is now being brought into the light, restored, and ready to take its rightful place in your life. This is not a return to where you were, but a stepping stone toward where you are meant to go. The past you thought you left behind is not returning to hinder you, but to empower you. You might be wondering why this is happening now. Why does it feel like your past is catching up to you? The answer lies in divine timing. God doesn't bring things back unless He is ready for them to flourish. The time of struggle, of abandonment, of feeling like something was lost, those moments served their purpose. They protected you, prepared you, and now you are ready. The door is opening, and you are being called to walk through it. What was once buried in sorrow or confusion is now coming forth with clarity and purpose. God has been preparing you for this moment, and now with a renewed sense of identity, understanding, and strength, you are ready to receive what was always meant for you. Don't shy away from the past that is now revisiting you. Welcome it not as a burden, but as a gift, a reminder of how far you've come and how much further you are meant to go. The entrance God is standing at is not just a place of reflection, but a place of opportunity. You have the chance to step into the fullness of your purpose, to embrace the dreams you once thought unattainable. Heaven is not revisiting the past to take you backward, but to prepare you for what is ahead. The restoration has already begun, and it's time to step through the door that leads to a future that is aligned with your divine calling. Are you ready to cross the threshold? Have you ever had a moment when something from your past suddenly reappears, as if the universe itself is pulling it back into your life? It's not just a fleeting thought or a random coincidence. It's a sign. The things you buried, the dreams you left behind, and the passions you once thought were lost, they are being called back into your life. And let me tell you, these are not just random reminders. These are divine nudges that something unfinished within you is demanding attention once again. First, it could come in the form of unexpected reminders. Perhaps you hear a song that takes you back to a time when you were chasing a dream you abandoned, or you see a familiar face that sparks memories of something you once hoped for. It's as if the universe is speaking through these subtle cues, telling you that what you thought was buried is still alive in your spirit. Don't ignore these signs because they are not random. They are the beginning of your divine restoration. Then there are those encounters with people who seem to show up in your life and mention something you left behind. It could be an old friend who reminds you of the dreams you shared, or a stranger who speaks words that echo what you once hoped for. These interactions are not accidents. When people start referencing things you've long forgotten or things you've dismissed, it's a direct signal that something you buried is not finished yet. These people are divine messengers reminding you of a path you walked away from, but one that is now calling you back. There's also the renewed internal pull towards something you once abandoned. You might have thought that the passion you once felt for a certain purpose or calling was lost, but now it's resurfacing in the deepest parts of your soul. You feel an inexplicable desire to return to what you once set aside. It could be a dream, a project, a vision, or even a relationship that you once let go of. That inner pull is God's way of stirring your heart again, reminding you that what you thought was over is just beginning to bloom once more. And then there are the situations, unexpected events, or opportunities that seem to reopen doors you thought were shut for good. Maybe a job opportunity you once dreamed of resurfaces, or a connection from the past reaches out at just the right time. These are not mere coincidences. They are the doors of destiny, swinging open, welcoming you back to what was once yours. but was temporarily hidden. These situations are a confirmation that your time has come to step into what you buried, to take back what was yours all along. Finally, there is a profound sense that your unfinished purpose is demanding your attention. It's not a nagging feeling, but a powerful, unshakable knowing that something in your life has been waiting for you to acknowledge it. It's as though the world around you is pushing you to face what you've neglected or put aside. That inner voice, those stirring emotions, that feeling that something is missing, these are the whispers of your purpose calling you back. The work, the vision, the calling that you buried has not gone away. It has simply been waiting for the right moment, the right season to rise again. These signs are not to be ignored, for they are the divine breadcrumbs leading you back to the path you once walked. God is calling back what was buried, and if you listen carefully, you'll hear the invitation to step into the fullness of what was always meant for you. Don't run from the signs, embrace them. The purpose you buried is waiting for you to claim it. It's time to rise up and walk in the calling that has always been yours. Have you ever wondered why some things in your life have had to be buried only to resurface at a later time? There's a divine purpose in this timing, and it's far greater than we can sometimes understand. The truth is, the order to bring back what was once sealed could only have been signed at this moment because of your personal growth, the changing environment around you, and the lessons you've learned through hardship. Everything has led up to this point. Now is the time, not just by chance, but because you are now ready to receive what you once thought was lost or out of reach. Personal maturity plays a key role in why now is the time for your dreams, your calling, or your purpose to resurface. You see, when you first buried your dreams or put something aside, you may not have been ready for it. The person you were then filled with uncertainty, perhaps lacking experience, and possibly not equipped with the emotional or spiritual resilience needed, could not fully grasp or handle the weight of the blessings you once envisioned. But as you've walked through life, faced challenges, and experienced personal growth, you've been transformed. Your experiences, your failures, your triumphs, and your ability to overcome hardship have shaped you into a person who is finally ready. The challenges that once seemed like setbacks were actually opportunities in disguise. They built you, they matured you, and they gave you a deeper understanding of life and yourself. Now, as your purpose calls you back, you're no longer the same person you were when you buried it. You have the wisdom, patience, and strength to carry it. This personal maturity has prepared you to take on the responsibility of your purpose with grace and confidence. You've grown into the person you were meant to be, and only now can you truly understand, appreciate, and make the most of the calling that is returning to you. Another significant reason why the order has been signed now is the change in the environment around you. Sometimes it's not just us who need to be prepared, it's also the world around us. The environment we live in, the people we interact with, and the circumstances we find ourselves in can either nurture or hinder our dreams. When you buried your dreams, perhaps the world wasn't ready for them. Maybe the people in your life couldn't understand your vision, or your ideas were ahead of their time. The environment you were in at that time may have been filled with negativity, distractions, or obstacles that prevented you from moving forward. But now the world around you has shifted. The people in your life have grown, your environment has changed, and the world is finally ready for the dreams that once seemed impossible. Perhaps the people who doubted you before are no longer in the picture, or perhaps they've had a shift in perspective. Maybe the opportunities you once thought were closed are now opening again. Whatever the case may be, the environment has become fertile for the very things you once buried. The conditions are now right for what you abandoned to take root and grow. Your surroundings, the people who surround you, and the opportunities that now exist in your life all play a crucial role in the timing of your restoration. What once seemed like the wrong moment is now revealed as the perfect time. Lessons learned through hardship are perhaps one of the most critical elements in why the order could only be signed now. Every difficulty, every heartbreak, every struggle you faced was not wasted. It might have felt like the end at times, but each of those experiences has shaped your character, refined your heart, and prepared you to carry the weight of what is returning to you. The trials you've endured have built the resilience and endurance you now carry within you. The strength you gain through those difficult seasons is what will allow you to embrace your restored dreams with confidence and stability. Think back to the moments of pain or disappointment in your life. At the time, you might have felt defeated, as though nothing good would ever come from it. But now, with hindsight, you can see how these moments were preparing you. They were teaching you lessons that would shape your perspective and make you stronger. What once felt like a loss was actually a process of preparation. Now, as your dreams, your calling, your purpose resurfaces, you carry with you the wisdom of those difficult seasons. You are no longer unprepared for the responsibility that comes with it. You are ready to handle what is returning, and you are equipped to take it to the next level. Timing is the ultimate determinant of whether restoration will lead to growth or destruction. This is why divine timing is so important. You see, the same dream, the same calling that could have been a blessing at one point could have also been a burden at another if the timing wasn't right. If you had been handed your purpose too early, you might have lacked the maturity or understanding to make the most of it. If the world hadn't changed, if the people around you hadn't grown, you might have faced rejection or discouragement that would have crushed you. But now everything is aligned. You are prepared, the world is ready, and the time has come for your purpose to return, not just for you to experience it, but for you to thrive in it. What was once too early, too big, too bold, too ambitious may now be exactly right. The delay was not a denial. It was a divine process of preparation. God, in His infinite wisdom, knew that you had to go through certain experiences to be ready. What seemed like an obstacle was actually a step toward growth. Now, what was once buried is ready to rise, and you are the person who can handle it. The order has been signed, and what was once lost or abandoned is now returning. You are not the person you were before. You've grown, you've learned, and now you are ready to take your place. Trust that the timing is perfect. What was once too early is now exactly right. Step into the season of restoration, for the doors that were once closed are now open. The time has come, and you are ready. You are standing at the entrance. This moment right here, right now, represents far more than just a simple point of entry. It is a transition, a threshold between what has been and what is yet to come. The entrance is not the final destination, but the pivotal moment when everything that has been prepared in secret, everything that has been stored away and preserved, is about to meet the light of the present. This is the time of decision. This is the point where you must choose whether you are ready to walk through the door that God has opened for you. The path forward requires courage, understanding, and a willingness to embrace what is returning from the past. Standing at this entrance, you may find yourself confronted by something from your past, something that you buried, something that once seemed irrelevant, or something that was too painful to deal with. But this confrontation is not just a chance encounter, it is a divine moment, a divine invitation. The things you left behind, your dreams, your purpose, your calling, are not just coming back to haunt you. They are coming back to reclaim their place in your life. What you buried may now demand a new response, and that response is yours to give. Will you face it with the same fear and resistance that caused you to bury it in the first place? Or will you rise to the challenge and embrace the opportunity for restoration? The question becomes, are you truly ready to reclaim what was once buried? It's easy to think that the past should stay in the past, that some things are better left forgotten. But what if the very thing you've been avoiding, the thing you've left behind, is the key to unlocking the next phase of your journey? What if your greatest purpose is connected to what you thought was a mistake or a failed dream? God doesn't waste anything. What was buried in the past is coming back not as a reminder of failure, but as a chance to redeem it, to reclaim it, and to let it take its rightful place in your future. At this moment of decision, there are two paths you can choose. Some people, when they encounter the entrance, will ignore it. They will turn away, convinced that their past is behind them, that they've moved on, and that there is no need to revisit what was buried. This is a path of avoidance, a path that leads to missed opportunities and unfulfilled potential. It's tempting to believe that walking away from the entrance will lead to peace, but in truth, it only delays what is meant for you. but others will recognize this moment as a divine invitation to step into their purpose. For them, the entrance is not a wall, but a gateway to the restoration of dreams, the fulfillment of promises, and the reclamation of what was lost. They understand that this is not just a return to the past, but a forward movement into a greater future. The reopening of purpose is not just a return to where they were, but a step toward where they are meant to go. They embrace the moment with faith, knowing that the journey ahead will be worth the effort, the growth, and the transformation. This is your choice. Will you stand at the entrance and turn away? Or will you step forward into the future that has been waiting for you all along? God has prepared you for this moment. He has been working in the background, aligning everything for this exact season. The entrance represents the decision to either move forward into the fullness of your destiny or remain stuck in the comfort of what you thought was safe. It's not about the past. It's about how you respond to what is calling you now. The moment of decision is upon you. The door is open, and what was once buried is now ready to be reclaimed. Will you step through and embrace the restoration that has been waiting for you? Or will you walk away leaving behind what was always meant for you? The choice is yours, but know this: what you choose today will determine the course of your future. The entrance is a gateway. Step through it with boldness, knowing that you are walking into the fullness of God's purpose for your life. As we conclude this journey, I want to leave you with a truth that can transform the way you see everything that has happened in your life. Burial does not always signify disappearance. We often believe that when something is buried, be it a dream, a hope, or a purpose, that it's gone for good. We think it's lost forever, buried beneath the weight of time, disappointment, or failure. But the truth is far more powerful. Burial in the spiritual sense does not mean disappearance. It often means preservation. The things that have been hidden, stored away in secret places, are often being preserved by God for a future moment. Just as a seed is buried in the ground, seemingly out of sight, it is not forgotten. It is nurtured, protected, and prepared for the moment it is meant to break through the surface and grow into something magnificent. You see, there are certain aspects of your life story, certain callings, desires, dreams, and purposes that were meant to remain hidden until the time was right. When you buried them, you thought they were gone forever, but God saw the entire picture. He saw what you couldn't see. He saw the timing, the preparation, and the perfect moment when it would be time for these things to rise again. And in His sovereignty, He chose to keep them preserved, protected, waiting for you to be ready, for the environment around you to be right, and for your heart and mind to align with His perfect timing. What you thought was lost was merely hidden away until it could emerge in its fullness. The image of God standing at the entrance is more than a symbolic gesture. It represents divine oversight, authority, and control over everything that has been buried. God is not distant, passively waiting for events to unfold. He is actively involved in the restoration process. When He stands at the entrance, it means that He is ready to reveal what has been hidden. He is the one who has preserved it. He is the one who has ensured that what was once buried remains safe, and He is the one who will bring it back at just the right time. This is not the return of something lost. This is the return of something ordained by God, something that was meant to be brought forth, but only when the conditions were right. When God signs the order for something to return to your life, everything changes. In an instant, things that seemed impossible begin to unfold before your eyes. What was closed off to you, what seemed like a door that would never open again, is suddenly wide open. Relationships that once felt broken begin to heal. Opportunities that were once distant now feel close enough to touch. God's timing is always perfect, and when He decides that it is time for restoration, the shift is undeniable. The circumstances around you will begin to change rapidly, and you will find yourself standing at the threshold of something you thought was forever lost, but is now returning with new life. It's important to remember that what was buried did not just disappear. It was being prepared, transformed, and refined in ways that you could not have understood at the time. Every disappointment, every setback, every moment of confusion, none of it was wasted. These were the very things that God used to prepare you for what is coming. Now, as the order is signed and the moment of restoration arrives, you will step into a new season of life, one that has been specifically prepared for you. It's not just the return of what was buried, it's the beginning of something even greater than you could have imagined. The dreams you buried are not just coming back, they are returning with more strength, more purpose, and more clarity than ever before. In the end, the final thought I want to leave you with is this: what you believed was lost may have simply been waiting for the exact moment it was meant to rise again. You might have thought that your dreams, your purpose, or your passions were gone forever. You may have believed that the time for them had passed, or that you would never have the chance to see them fulfilled. But God doesn't work in the same way we do. He doesn't forget. What was buried was never forgotten. It was never outside of His plan. What you thought was lost was only waiting for the right moment, the moment when you were ready to walk in it, when the world was ready to see it, and when everything had aligned for its perfect return. You may have buried your dreams, your hopes, or your purpose thinking that it was too late, too far gone, or too impossible. But now is the time of restoration. Now is the time for what was buried to rise again. And when it does, it will come back stronger, wiser, and more purposeful than it was before. So stand in this moment with confidence, knowing that what was once hidden is now being revealed. What was once buried is about to come to life. Trust that the order has been signed and that the time of restoration has come. The purpose you buried is rising once again, and this time it is going to fulfill everything God has destined it to be. It's time to step forward to reclaim what was always meant for you and to walk into the future that has been waiting for you all along.